Hi Aries, welcome to your April and May 2019 Life Path Tarot reading. And I did this for February and March, was it? I think it was. Yeah, just for the, but it was like a couple months ago, so I'm trying to remember. So I do think I did that. And in the past I've done something similar as well, but I'm just going to do this. I'm shuffling the cards. It's just a simple 4-card spread, and the intention for this is to kind of give you some messages about your direction in life. Obviously, this is a general reading. I do have private readings that cover this area. I have the link to that particular reading below, but I also have natal chart interpretations. This is, astrology based instead of the tarot. So please check me out if you're interested. And I think I'm going to pick a card from the Native Spirit deck while I'm at it, because it's right here on my table. So why not? Or Earth Magic deck. whichever one I can, whichever one I decide. Okay. Just hard to lift these cards up. That's the only thing. Gosh, I've gotten that card up several times. And I've only done 4 readings. That's 7 of Wands. Okay. And let me make sure I have my... I'll pick a card from the Native Spirit deck. It's down here. Just to do something different. It's always good to have like a oracle card when I do these readings too. Trickster. I'll read that in a second. Okay. So where you are right now is represented by the 10 of Wands. This can be a card of working quite a bit. Aries, your sign that I do associate with being perhaps someone who is always in motion, who is a doer. And so the question can come up with this card is, are you working yourself too hard? Is it going to end up with you having to just totally stop for a while? And you don't want to ever get to that point where you're burnt out, because then you can't do anything, so it's better to taper off. If you do feel like maybe you are doing too much. And also this card, you can't see it in this deck. I'm not going to look it up. I have my other deck right here. But in the like Morgan Greer deck, I think this also depicts it like the Rider-Waite deck, which is kind of like somebody who is burdened by their responsibilities. And this can mean that you're taking on other people's responsibilities as well. So whatever is going on in your life, do you feel a sense of fulfillment in and of yourself? Or do you feel like you're doing something to try to keep all the pieces together, but it's like you're trying to be Superman or Superwoman? And, the hero archetype with Aries, I could totally see an Aries person kind of identifying with that, because there is that connection to Mars, that courage, maybe even like a larger-than-life individual. You have boundless energy. There's no question about that. But your energy, even if you have a lot of energy, you still don't want to burn the candle at both ends. It's funny. I have a card that looks like the candle burning. Funny that I said that. Where you want to be, Father of Swords. So it could be that you're doing some physical work and you want to do something that is more of an intellectual profession. Aries is one of those signs that I could see doing physical work because of having that energy. And I'm even thinking about, you know, seeing somebody like Marlon Brando in, I don't know if it was Cat on a Hot Tin Roof or something, but just seeing somebody who was a double Aries like that, and there was almost like this primitive quality about him because he was playing like kind of that kind of character, but that sense of physicality that, and you could just sense the energy just like pouring out of him. And that is definitely how Aries people are, and they could do vigorous work. And that might be what some Aries people have to do in order to kind of throw off all that excess energy. But you may feel like, I'm bright, I want to do something mental. And one of the things that's important to understand is that you may be intelligent, but your body's needs require a lot of physical movement. I'm just saying that some people who think that their path is to be sitting at a desk or something like that might be quite surprised that if they do try to do that it doesn't work out for them, no matter how intelligent they are. Intelligence has nothing to do with being well suited for something physical or more sedentary, because there's more to the story than that. And the other thing too about this card is that you may know that you need to kind of, I was going to say, I don't know how to say this, make somebody become more independent, or I don't know the proper way of saying this, of letting them know that they must be responsible for their life. But a lot of Aries are very generous people. They're kind of like softies. Even though you may be aggressive, you have a very tolerant nature many times. And you may need to kind of lay down the law with somebody. It's funny, I said lay down the law. I'm saying these phrases, and the Father of Swords can be the King of Swords, and that can even be like not a lawyer, but a judge who has to be impartial and has to be unemotional as he or she is meting out justice. So in your case, you may have to kind of tell somebody how it's going to be, and it's hard for you because you don't want to hurt them, you don't want to make them feel like you're being some kind of like meanie, but you know that it's for their highest good, and that you have been kind of carrying their load for too long now, and now it's time for them to pick it up. The first step you must take is the Seven of Wands. I say instead of branches, no, what's the other term that they use instead of wands? I can't think of it, but you know what I mean. This is Seven of Wands. So the Seven of Wands, I've said this in the other readings that I've gotten this card with, and I say, what do you think when you look at this card? And I say that I think of the eternal flame. I think of and I'm talking about not the one in Washington, D.C., but inside of us. That is kind of like I would describe it as the inner child. And for a sign like Aries, this is something that you can easily access, because you can even appear like an overgrown kid a lot of times. But maybe this message is for those Aries who really identify with the Ten of Wands, and you've been so harried and so overworked that you can't remember what it feels like to play. So it might be that you simply need to start cutting back your hours. I realize that if you work for somebody else, that's very tricky. And for some people, they may need to change jobs because it's just not, you may be doing somebody else's work in the office. And that's what I'm picking, you know, if this is what I'm picking up here with the idea of being burdened by somebody, or not picking up and interpreting in that way. What this could mean is that you have to cherish that part of yourself that wants to feel free again. Maybe you feel kind of trapped in a situation and you don't know how to get out of it. And sometimes even the boss can manipulate you and say, oh, we need you. You're like, you know, the linchpin here. And that keeps you hanging on, or that keeps you sucked into their thing. And meanwhile, they're just taking advantage of you because they don't want to pay somebody else. And you're doing the work of 2 people or 1.5 people. And, you know, wands are fire energy, Aries, Leo, Sag, and that sense of freedom, that sense of like a child who gets to play, and there's a freedom in the playing. And it's like, we came here to play, I feel. And we can play through our work. It doesn't mean that we have to be all serious and things like that. I think you totally know what I mean. But it's just that sometimes the weight of the world is crushing. And so just think about that. At least think about, you know, how you can make that happen for yourself based on, you know, your individual situation. The outcome is the 10 of Pentacles. This is a card of money, affluence, you know, like wealth. And this can be showing you that this is a key to your abundance, is by honoring yourself. And maybe, who knows, maybe you've been working like a dog because you're trying to pay all your bills. And it seems counterintuitive, doesn't it, to suggest that if you cut back on your hours that you're actually going to make more money. But stranger things have happened. It's all about, again, honoring the self and honoring that part of you that needs to be nurtured, that needs to be cared for. So let's look at the native spirit. And I'm going to read from the booklet. I got trickster. And I think that's supposed to be a coyote, because I think that's the archetype of the trickster in Native American culture or religion, whatever you want to call it. Oh, I love those patterns. I wonder if that's Navajo. Okay. The meaning of the card is things are not as bad as they seem. So, again, going back to something that seems bad may be good and vice versa. Don't take everything at face value. Look beneath the surface. This card encourages you to try to find humor or gentle amusement in seemingly difficult situations. It also encourages you to have irrepressible fun. Step out of the mold. And I would say irrepressible fun, again, getting back to the child. One of Aries' greatest qualities is that youthful quality of, that spontaneity, and maybe you haven't been able to do that lately. So this is more of a background of what the trickster represents. In indigenous traditions, there is the concept of the tricksters. In Native American traditions, the trickster is often depicted as a wily coyote, but sometimes the trickster is a human called Heoka. There is a lighthearted, fun aspect of the trickster, but there's also the caution to tread carefully because things are not always as they seem. Be discerning. What appears to be a good opportunity may in fact not be. The wonderful aspect of this card choosing you is that it offers the opportunity to step out of the old, outmoded ways of perceiving yourself. The trickster allows you to see yourself in an entirely new way and asks you to step out of old routines and habits that may be keeping you stagnant. I will especially reference those of you who know your personal planets, that if you have Mars in Taurus or in Pisces, this could really apply to you, because Taurus can get into a rut and Pisces can feel helpless over their, changing their situations. And then, you can apply that also to the moon, because the moon can be any sign. All right, that's what I have for you, Aries. I wish you all the best, and happy birthday as well in April, or in March if you're watching at the very tail end of the month. Take care. Bye.